Hello, welcome back. We are setting up a lab for Direct Audit 2018 to do an upgrade. And in the previous videos, we have set up our Centrify OE structure, and we have set up also, the licensing service. So we're going to set up Direct Audit. The way I want to lay out things is I want to make sure that this machine is my management server and database. This machine over here is um, my collector. And some of those systems here are going to be my audited systems. So let's start with the management server and database. And we're going to go into my bits, Suite 2018, and we're going to run the direct audit combined setup. And we're going to go ahead and pick the components that we want. From an administrative perspective, I want to keep my consoles and PowerShell. But the only thing that I won't be installing here, we're not going to be auditing here. Actually, you know what? Let's just audit here. And we're not going to do a collector, right? Licensing service is already installed, so I don't need to pick it. And this should be fairly straightforward. The part that will take a little while would be the self-contained installation of SQL Server. So as some of you know, um, you in a proper installation of direct audit, you want to have a dedicated SQL server aligned with the best practices from your database department, right? But in a lab, you could deploy, provided that you keep it patched and everything, right? You could deploy your own SQL server for this. So we're gonna launch the wizard. In this case, notice that it failed, and this is because I'm reusing infrastructure here. So what I want to do is I want to open Audit Manager, and it'll start right away with the installation wizard. The expectation was that this should have launched, but I am doing a couple of things that are risky here. I'm running on 2019, but this should be relatively easy. So we're going to go and do a default installation, and notice that I'm picking create a new database, right? The reason why I got what I got before is because I do have an existing database here. The challenge is that some of this have already orphaned, and I didn't do a good job at cleaning up. But that being said, let's go ahead and create a new database here, saying the database already exists. So what we need to do is, you know, change some names here. So this is going to be my, lab installation. And default management database lab. So in this case, notice that it's saying, hey, you need a SQL login to do the start for procedures. I think I have a SQL login account, or we're going to use the defaults. I think that it should be able to do it. Now I need to put some license keys. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pause, and then I'm going to come back when we are ready for the next step. All right, now that I have added the license key, I can browse to the specific location that I want for the installation object. It's a service connection point. I'm going to use the licenses container that is set up during the uh, generated OU structure for Centrify, because that one already has everybody read access. Otherwise, if you put it in a different place, you want to make sure that you delegate the ability to read. So here, notice that I have the ability to enable video capture. I want to make sure that's okay. Notice that I have the ability to limit if users can delete their own sessions, yada, yada, yada. So this is going to take some time, and I'm going to go ahead and pause it again. All right, so that was over, and now it's going to launch to create an audit store. So one thing is the installation, laying it out, but then there's the audit store. So the audit store, I'm going to call it audit store lab, is the current database where audit data is installed. So I'm going to add, my site to make sure that it's within the scope. I can also add my subnet, but site should be fine. Um, and Now it's going to launch the Audit store for lab. And this is going to be the current one. Notice that the option for RDS it is, but we are using the same. And this is basically a bunch of storage procedures that are run. So here, this is related to Kerberos. So what it's going to do is going to register a principal name of MS SQL Server service for this in this port. This allows clients to be able to locate the SQL Server database. And here it is. There's a new default installation, right? And this error, it's expected. And what that means is that the licensing service, uh, let's see, let me just launch the control panel. It may be that I inadvertently removed the licensing service. It's possible because I didn't check the box, and MSI may think that I wanted that removed. So I can verify that by looking at this. There's no licensing service, so I need to re-add it. This is why I want to do this thing so you guys can see it. So if there's anything out of the ordinary, you can take a look. So in here, I'm just gonna reinstall the licensing service. And this also happens when you're mixing and matching roles that should be separate in the same box. So now I should have it. And here's the deployment. And what I need to do is probably stop and start the management service so this comes back. So I'm going to give it some time and it should be taken care of. So the audit management service. So we have, we're going to look for direct audit management service. Here it is. Let's stop it and start it. And my expectation is after a while, this is gonna be happy again. So in the next video, we're gonna continue the configuration. We're gonna set up the configuration via GPO. We don't have Chef, Puppet, or Ansible here. And then we're gonna start Collector and then our agents.